We love you.
One of the biggest highlights of this year's Rock Imperium Festival was the performance of the metal queen herself, Doro Pesch, blessing the crowd with a set of the legendary Warlock, which in my opinion was one of the most important bands of the European metal scene, whose long-lasting impact has started showing the most only in the recent years, and of which I of course did not miss a chance to speak about with the queen herself. Metal pilgrims, welcome to this very special episode. Today I'm here with the metal royalty herself, the metal queen Doro Pesch, in person. Thank you so much, Doro, for finding time and joining me. How are you?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was a great show, so I'm all energized. It was so awesome.
It was incredible.
Cool. I'm so happy, and the fans, when they are on fire, I'm on fire, and it was so awesome tonight.
Doro, talking about that show, while watching it, I realized one thing. You are so true to metal. Maybe one of the most truest people I've ever met. I caught something backstage when you were saying goodbye to your fans and you didn't want to leave, and your manager put a coat on you and dragged you off the stage because you didn't want to leave. What sparks this love for metal today, 40 years later?
Yeah, it's the people. I love the fans. They're my life. I don't have anything else which is more important to me. And, when I started, then I always wanted to do it, and now we can still do it. And I'm very grateful. I love every moment. And when I see a big smile on people's faces, then, then of course you don't want to leave, because it's like leaving your best friend, and I'm so happy that everybody was so happy today. So, it was so much good energy, singing so loud, and all these ole, ole, ole,
Yes.
And Spain is always super special. So that's the reason why in the song Für immer was the Spanish sentence.
Yes.
And because my first tour was with Judas Priest in 1986. Judas Priest, my favorite band. It was so unbelievable. And then we toured the first time in Spain. And I was blown away. So I always want to say something in Spanish. And then we put this little Spanish in the song Für immer. And I still love singing it. And the feedback of the Spanish fans, that's out of this world. Especially their mentality is different, and I love that. It's so metal, and then I feel like I can live out my metal persona when I know that people care, that they're totally passionate about it. Sometimes in other concerts or countries, they go and see a show, they love it, they're rocking out a little bit. But it doesn't mean so much to them, and here it means so much to people, and that's what makes me feel so good. And then I can sing much better, I can perform much better, and then of course I don't want to leave,
Of course.
It's so good,
When the audience, greets you the way they did it today, I can't even imagine what it feels like. I still have goosebumps, I think, a little bit.
that makes me happy.
Formed Warlock all the way back in 1982, and although the band quickly rose to fame in their local scene, yet it wasn't until 4 years later when Judas Priest took then young female-fronted heavy metal band on their Fuel for Life tour that Doro and the boys had risen to popularity around the world. And there was something different about Warlock. As even though of course there were many incredible women in metal back then, it was Doro Pesch who quickly became a prominent voice for all the metal girls around the world, a true role model for all the female artists who dreamt about becoming true metal stars. And she remained such until this very day. The Judas Priest tour, the tour with Judas Priest, almost 40 years ago, kind of kicked it off for you, on a big scale, if you want it, right?
Absolutely.
And I know that you're huge fans with the Rob Halford, but whenever you talk about them, you still sound like a huge
just metal fan.
Oh, I am.
You still follow that? You still follow your favorite bands? The same way you did before?
Yes, I still follow my favorite bands. I still follow new bands, and I have a radio show actually in Germany on Rock Antenne and in America as well.
Yeah.
It's the Monster of Rock radio network, so I can always pick and choose my favorite songs and my favorite bands, and then sometimes I get to hear new bands, and it's very exciting. And I'm still as excited about metal than I was in the 80s. So it's great, and I'm still, every day is a new day, every concert, every festival is a new adventure, and it always it's the big turn on. And I'm on fire when I see people are on fire. My God, that's there's nothing like it.
Which new bands can you put out? Are there any you follow?
Actually, I like the many bands from South America, like Nervosa. And
Nervosa, I know you girls are going to be watching this.
Yes, your friends. Yeah, tell them. Yeah. Nervosa and Crypta.
Yeah.
And of course from Switzerland and the Netherlands, Burning Witches. I love them. I think they're doing a great job. I just saw some girls of Cobra Spell were watching the show.
Yeah.
So actually. It's very interesting, but I think I just named the all-female metal band.
That's true.
So yeah, man, that was different in the 80s. There were maybe a handful of girls doing it, and now it's so great. Even in the audience, you see so many
You were
female
always one of
metalheads.
those, one of those women who brought the female voice into heavy metal, which, I and so many metalheads around the world loved you for. And now you kind of see the seeds that you planted and growing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, sometimes I hear it even from guys, girls and guys. They say, man, we saw your All We Are video. That's usually All We Are, and the Triumph and Agony album. That was very inspiring for many people. And then I said, when we saw the video, when we heard the song, then we wanted to form a band and picking up a guitar or a microphone. So I got that from many young bands, and that's awesome. And that makes me feel really good.
I think we really need more diversity in metal, and the more diversity there is in metal, the better it is, because then it can grow and develop into something, and continue living.
I always say that what I firmly believe metal fans value the most today in 2024, and especially when it comes to the classic legacy acts, in addition to good music of course, is honesty. Especially from someone who loudly and proudly sings about a metal family and metal unity. After more than 40 years on stage, Doro Pesch has achieved everything a metalhead girl from Germany could have possibly dreamt of, yet it looks like despite that she remained exactly the same as she was back then. As what strikes me and everyone I've spoken to about this the most is how passionate she is about metal music and her favorite bands. And it is not just a stage persona she developed. Looking at Doro, you understand that she lives and breathes metal. And even if you take the microphone away from her, she'll still remain a metalhead, headbanging to her favorite bands together with her metal family.
I'm a fan of all metal genres, from the Viking metal like Amon Amarth or Arch Enemy to, of course, still my heroes, Judas Priest. I still love to listen to, of course, Motorhead, because Lemmy was my best friend. Yeah. And Dio, which, man, they're all in rock and roll heaven, but I still love to listen to their music, and I definitely want to keep their legacy alive. Usually we play something of Motorhead or Dio, and so because Dio, that was my second tour. My first tour was Judas Priest in '86. My second tour was actually Wasp in England, and my third tour with Ronnie James Dio. '87, and and it means so much to me.
Just hearing about those tours kind of gives me goosebumps, because those are my favorite bands as well.
We have good taste.
And and just like you, I owe a lot to Judas Priest. once again, thank you, Rob Halford and
Yeah.
Judas Priest team for inviting me here and
Yeah,
giving me the
this is
opportunity
so
to give
awesome.
an interview.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. We met.
Yeah.
It was Zoom call.
Yeah, and now we finally meet in person. It's freaking
that's
awesome.
Good. And I stayed always friends with Rob Halford, and he did these 2 duets with me on my new album, on
And they're
Conquerors.
incredible. I love them both.
Yeah,
I
aren't they
still listen
cool?
to them
No?
all the time.
Yeah. Living After Midnight, that was my choice, and Total Eclipse of the Heart was Rob's choice.
Yeah.
He said, I love that song. I said, wow, really? And then we did it, and this video came out pretty good too. Did you see it?
It was fun.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, and he was all like a long black leather coat, and that was cool. Yeah. No, it's the metal god. It's the
Yeah,
metal god.
exactly.
So I'm still a big fan of all my heroes, and I owe them a lot because I toured with everybody. What I told you, Priest, Dio, Motorhead, Saxon, all like these great bands, and I learned from everybody. And somehow, we didn't even have to talk about it, but just being on tour together with like these great bands, it's like. And my first gigs I did with Metallica, actually in Europe, and I still remember Cliff Burton. He was such a cool guy.
To him, when was that on Wacken, right? Was it? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, many times. We always do. We always have our little socials with everybody. We always try to make sure everybody's birthday, and or when people die. And I toured and I worked with so many people who are not anymore with us here. I hope we will meet each other again. But for example, Pete Steele as well. He was so cool, man. He was the tallest guy I've ever seen. Yeah, he was
Was he
tall.
really that tall?
Yeah, he was tall. I think he was taller than our bass player. Stefan was
Really?
pretty tall, but he was super sweet, super sweet. So many people. It's an honor to work with great people, and that's unforgettable. So I always keep it somehow deep in my heart, and then when we do a live show, I can. Somehow, I feel they're all with me, and I always want to try to do my best to make people feel good, empower them, give out good energy, positive energy, especially in this day and age.
You do, and honestly, heavy metal, at least for me, this is what keeps me going. And so many people. It's absolutely incredible, and I thank you for that. Said a couple of words about Conquerors Forever Strong, which I told you before that I think it is a great album, and it's still on repeat in my car whenever I go anywhere, which says a lot because there's a lot of new music coming out, and you'll usually forget about it a month after, and it's been half a year and I still regularly listen to it, which
that makes me feel very good and happy. Yeah.
But that also means that it's in the past. What's in the future? Are you? Because I know you constantly work on new music.
Yeah.
You're constantly writing.
Yeah, actually now we do all the summer festivals, and then we go on tour with Alice Cooper in October in Germany and in France. And then we do more festivals, and then we do a German tour in December. And between all that, I'm doing the new DVD and Blu-ray and live CD for
40th anniversary.
Yeah, for the 40th anniversary. And that was a big show in Wacken with many, many guests.
Yeah.
So cool, like Udo Dirkschneider and Joey Belladonna and Mickey D and Phil Campbell of Motorhead were there, and so many great people, and Hansi Kirsch of Blind Guardian. And in Düsseldorf, my former hometown, we did another 40th anniversary, big celebration, and Miller of Creator was there, and Elisa White Glues of Arch Enemy, and Angela Gosso of Arch Enemy, and we all sang together on stage, so that was really
At this point, you're
moment.
just naming metal royalty names.
Yeah.
They all come to bow to the queen, and it's freaking awesome.
I tell, it was both days were super special, and so we're working on it that everybody sounds good and that it looks good, and we're just doing cutting and mixing and
Doro, this set that I saw you today was very different from what I've seen you before, right? Because before I always have seen you as Doro Pesch. This one you are performing as Doro Pesch, the voice of Warlock,
Yeah.
which is awesome because I mean I was a Warlock fan since I was a little kid, you know, like so I freaking love it. You know, that's the music I grew up on. Can we expect more Warlock sets in the future?
Yeah, if like the promoters want to have
Okay.
a Warlock set, I'm happy to do it
But you
because
usually do that in Germany, right? I mean, like mostly.
well, we did it all over. We did a whole tour in Spain a few years ago, and in Sweden rock we played, and a couple of other countries, and then we did this CD. I don't know if you know, Triumph and Agony Live,
Yeah,
and there was a Triumph and Agony Live DVD. So we did it before, and I love it. And of course, I wrote most of them songs as well. And to me, there was never like a big difference between Warlock and the Doro stuff. It was just because we couldn't use the name Warlock for a long time. So I always want to go on making music, and 20 years it took to get the rights to the name back. So now I can actually use the name again, and that's the reason why we can do stuff. But it's fun to play all the old school metal songs, you know.
This was one of the craziest stories which metalheads have followed for so many years. Like I myself remember thinking, why is Doro not allowed to use the name Warlock if she was the voice of Warlock all this time?
Yeah. Well, I think many bands, they went through these problems. I know that you know, sometimes you get involved with different people. You always think everybody is like for you, is supportive, is your friend, you know. I was totally blind and totally naive. I was just happy when people said, man, we help you. And then our former manager, who was the merchandiser as well, so he was very interested in selling all the t-shirts, getting a lot of money, and then he stole the name. He had nothing to do with the name in the beginning, but and we went to court, and it was like a long time. And then 20 years later, I got the rights back. So, but 20 years is a long time.
Yes, rightfully so.
Yes, yeah. But there's nothing you can do when legal stuff is coming in, you know, between certain things. And when we started the band, we were all like, you know, young, like kids, like teenagers. I think my drummer, he was
16 or
15.
17, right?
Yeah, my drummer, he was, I think, 14, 15 when we met. So we had no idea about like the business stuff or the legal stuff. And, you know, and you don't know. And then you sign contracts, you don't even know what it says, you know. And back then, you know, we should have used a lawyer, but we didn't. We thought, it's cool. But certain things, I would definitely give an advice to young bands. Before you sign any contract, you should get legal advice, because you could get into deep trouble, you know, even when people seem to be nice. But since it's a business, you know, it's like, you know, so that's definitely. But I'm all about music, and I never cared about it. So that's the reason why I had to pay for it, you know. But that's the way it is.
This is very unfortunate, but at the same time, and I'm gonna say this as a fan, this is very fortunate for us metalheads, because it shows that you're all about music, and you know, it shows that you're all about your metal family and about loving heavy metal. Once again, the way you didn't want to leave the stage was just simply mind-blowing for me. Like they literally, just in case, they literally had to drag her out of the stage because she didn't want to leave it.
Yeah, slap her, man. Yeah. Actually, my tour manager, he's always like, oh man, he's like, he can be really rough, but he has to take care of everybody, so I understand. But it was so nice, and of course, I want to be respectful to other bands, you know. Yeah. They want to go on stage, have a killer show. So, but it was so cool, and but I love it. And what you said before, to me it was all about the music and metal, and you know, and whatever it takes. And sometimes you have to take the good with the bad, you know. When they say there's a lot of sunshine, there's a lot of, like, you know, when there's a lot of light, there's a lot of darkness. And that's true, but you have to just, like, you know, plow through it, you know, like hang in there, and then, you know, do your thing. And I believe, like, in good positive energy of the universe, you know. And when stuff gets really bad, then I start to pray, you know, and that always helps. So even when it takes 20 years to get the name back, but I think it always, you know, it has some, you know, there's definitely some help from above in my whole life, in my whole musical life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you may not believe that someone is helping you, but someone is helping you no matter what. Doro, the last but not least, can we expect more collaborations from you, like the one you did with Rob Halford in the future?
Yeah, I tell you, man, all my dreams came true. Like, you know, I was a big Kiss fan and working with Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so good. And working with Ronnie James Dio and recording so many songs with everybody. So yeah, eventually there's some more stuff coming up, but I wouldn't know who it would be because, man, all my heroes, you know.
You kind of did it all at this point.
Yeah, except Ronnie James Dio. We planned doing something together, but then it didn't happen anymore.
Really?
And we want to go on tour. And he told some journalists that he was planning on doing Magica 2 and Magica 3 album. And we were on the Magica tour in America, so yeah, we had plans to do another tour again, to record something. That's what I heard from other journalists. But that's the only time where I regret that we didn't, you know. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, there are many people. I like, for example, James Hetfield or Whitesnake. I was a big Whitesnake fan. So many people, maybe, you know. Yeah, who knows? But it will be always something really cool and interesting. You know, old bands or new bands. One of the great duets was with Johann Heck. I think that was pretty cool, no?
That was awesome.
Yeah, and I'm a big Amon Amarth fan, so yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there will be good stuff in the making.
This is incredible. And once again, everyone bow to the Queen, because this is the Queen herself. Doro, thank you so much. Can I hug you on camera? Come on. Oh, come on. We're all sweaty. We're on Metal Festival. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Stay metal.
Yeah, we love you.
What I absolutely loved about Doro's performance was just how much passion for metal there was in the air during that thunderous 2-hour set. Even more, I have a feeling that Doro's shows are not, and most likely never were, about Doro or even her music. They're a true celebration of everything heavy metal, and that's why the Metal Queen never shies away from giving praise to her favorite musicians, both the ones she had learned from and the ones for whom she was a role model alike. And that passion and love for metal shows in everything Doro does, because all she does for metal and for her fans. And that's why she also proposed to do a very special surprise for her metal family worldwide, joining our Invincible Shield of Europe fundraising campaign for medical equipment for Ukrainian civilians in need, giving a lot of special prizes, including a one-of-a-kind piece of heavy metal memorabilia.
Yeah, these are the bracelets I just wore, and I always wear them since the Monster of Rock festivals in 1986.
This is incredible. Thank you so much, Doro.
So guys, check out the links in the description of this video of how to get them, and all hail the Queen of Metal.